Hello, hello. Welcome to Sips and SalonScale. How are you all? My name is Lynzie Smith. I am head of community engagement with SalonScale. I would love for you to put in the chat where you are joining us from, as well as the name of your salon, if you're able. I have with me Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Jordan was with us last week as co-host as well.
Good morning.
Jordan, yes, how about you give a quick little intro?
Hi, everyone. I recognize some of the names already. Hi. So my name is Jordan. I'm the customer service representative. I guess salon scale expert is what you can also call me. I've been doing hair 24 years this year, and I have a love for tech. So I love how salon scale marries my two worlds together. And I'm excited to be a part of this new Sips and Salon Scale.
Yes, Jordan has been such a sidekick in this initiative. Last week we held our first, and it was so much fun. It was such an engaged group, and I think again being able to see familiar faces week after week. Like he mentioned, Sips and Salon Scale is a new initiative that we are implementing to be able to hold this space for you. I did just see a coffee sip, so I'm going to raise my glass. I've got a matcha today. So
Yeah.
I'm sipping my matcha. Jordan, what are you drinking?
I have a good old leaded coffee. I need the caffeine with some flavored creamer.
I love it. So, our objective with this is for you to come in once a week and have a space to learn from us as a community, to get more insight on how best to use our technology, how to support your team if you're a team based owner, how to really implement some of the features like markup to generate more profit for your business. Who doesn't want to make more profit in 2024? So, our goal is to host these every Tuesday, sip on our coffee or our morning tea, get ready for our workday, but have this collaborative space to really come and ask questions and get some resources in education. So we'll be creating a library for you to have access to come back into these replays. And last week's conversation was all around ways to weigh. So our focus last week was to be able to go through our three areas of weighing, how we educate our community on using either manual entry, using voice entry, or using Bluetooth to be able to track sessions. So we're going to expand on that topic again today, and we're going to start off by talking about the Akaya scale. So one of the questions I'd love to ask everyone who's here with us live: have you used the Akaya scale? Do you use a Bluetooth scale? You can put just a Y in the chat if you have. Do you use the Bluetooth scale? And if you do not, do you prefer manual or voice instead? If you can drop that information. Britt, you said yes. So you, I am assuming, have used the Akaya scale. So we're going to kind of talk about the difference of our Bluetooth scale, any manual scale that you would use as we discussed last week, and then the Akaya scale. So Jordan, I'd love to kind of share from your perspective, what are the differences between our Bluetooth scale and the Akaya scale right out of the bat if someone has never heard of the Akaya?
Okay, so the Kaya scale, I have it right here, fresh out of the package. The major difference right away is that there are no batteries. It uses rechargeable USB-C cable. So I was reading the instructions. You get 30 to 40 hours of battery life with this. So that's one key difference right there. The major difference is the sensitivity. So this was a scale designed for baristas for coffee, sips and coffee here.
We
And
like a theme.
yeah, exactly. And so it has more capabilities than what we need it for, because it has like it can measure your pour speed and that sort of stuff. We don't need any of that. What the major difference is, it's just the accuracy, the speed, and the sensitivity. It's so sensitive. Like I always say you can sneeze and it picks it up. And I'm like not even joking. Like sometimes you if you're really anal in grams, it scrubs down 2 decimal points. So if you're like you want 29 grams, you might be like 28.70 and just like creeping it up. So it's super accurate.
Yeah, that accuracy is so valuable though, especially again, as you're looking at waste, as you're looking at tracking and accurate costs, we want to get your financial metrics down to the penny. We want to make sure that we're so accurate with that as well. So there's so many variations again between looking at all of the features and maybe feeling slightly overwhelmed by that. So maybe let's break it down a little bit. And Jordan, I'd love for you to demonstrate, like you did last week with the Akaya scale, some like accuracy measurements and exactly how that can be done in a way that is quick and efficient and easy. And really looking at our scale as like you compared last week, I think you called it a Toyota. So again, very efficient. It works well. It's a great, it's a great option. It's a solution there for you. But the Akaya being that BMW, that next level of really having that accuracy and that quick metric. I did see in the chat, Bluetooth did not work well for us. So again, I want to address that here in this space. I want us to be able to kind of talk through any issues with Bluetooth measuring and being able to leverage a more advanced scale like an Akaya if you had any issues with Bluetooth in the past. So Jordan, do you want to share with us maybe Betty White again, and we can go through like a quick demo with her?
So you can still see me. Well, you know what? I had a little surprise. Instead of Betty White, I have another surprise guest.
Yay! Let's see who
Okay.
you're bringing.
So the first thing I like to point out is for Bluetooth connectivity, make sure you have Bluetooth turned on your device. And then you want to head on the app to the very bottom where it says account and then general settings. And this is where you turn that toggle on Bluetooth scale. So with the Akaya, you actually don't need that automatic tear on, but I can talk about that later. But that's one thing I just need to point out in order for you to use the Akaya scale. Okay, so let's create a session. I'll try and do this quick so we have more time to discuss everything. So first I'm going to select myself as a stylist. I'm Jordan. Okay, and the guest is Baby Spice. Throwback to the Spice Girls back in Girl Power 1998, 99. I was just watching the Beckham documentary and it made me feel nostalgic. So
I love it. Usher was just on the halftime show for the Super Bowl. If anyone watched the Super Bowl, so we are just rolling it back, and I'm for it this week.
Exactly. So right here, we're going to start with adding a bowl in the color section. And last week, I forgot to show you something. So custom bowl names. I'm just going to choose none. So remind me, Lynzie, before we end, to actually show that how to rename a bowl.
Yep.
Okay. Let's select our products. I'll show you one way here where you actually type in. That's kind of my favorite, typing in the product. So I'm going to use Schwarzkopf today, 9.5-18, which is a rose. And I'll hit search. Now, I add all my products at once. I don't go back and forth in the other screen. I like everything there. But let me show you a new feature called like the barcode scanner, kind of like being at a superstore, a grocery store. So I'm going to hit that toggle here where it says scan barcode. It's going to bring up my camera. And I'm going to scan my developer just to show you. Sometimes it goes in and out of focus, but there we go. We have our developer. And I'm going to double check my formula at the bottom where it says start measuring. That looks good. So here we go. By default, because we have Bluetooth turned on, it's going to select that as your first option. We talked last week about using manual entry or voice command. Do you want me to demonstrate that? We'll just go right into the Akaya.
Let's go right into the Akaya. We can touch on it if we have a little time at the end.
Let's do it. So I went back to selecting Bluetooth. Oh, hang on. I'm going to show you how to rename that bowl.
Perfect.
So
yep. I almost jumped in.
Yeah. So at the top there, look for that little pencil. Tap that, and we're going to rename this, let's say, money piece. Maybe I can use we'll just use a little emoji as well. Okay. I'm going to hit done. There we go. Money. Okay, so I have my scale beside me. Now, this is like a trolley. And because the scale is so sensitive, you might see it kind of flutter a little bit, but it's because my surface isn't totally solid right now, but it's right beside me here. So let me move my coffee out of the way. So I'm going to tap the power on. I always put my bowl on first. That way I don't have to tear the scale to compensate for the bowl's weight. So I'm going to turn this on. And you can see I was talking too long and the app is like, where's that scale? So I'm going to hit scan again. There we go. So as you can see, it has now paired because the first item is highlighted kind of in that dark purple. And the scale is showing me on the display that it's connected. So I'm going to use my measuring cup full of water to try and get, well, let's see here, maybe 60 grams. As you can see, as I'm pouring it, holy, it is already registering every drop. And it, yeah, there we go.
I will say last week, Jordan was on the money. He hit it on the money, every measurement.
I was. So in ounces at the very top, if you're like, no, I measure in ounces, you can switch it just on the fly. So maybe like Shades EQ, you measure in ounces, but everything else is in grams. You can quickly do that there. So I'm just going to switch it back to grams. Okay. This scale has automatic tare built in, so you don't need to turn that on. There's an audio sound that will play. It's like a beep. So if I tap on 20 volume, I don't know if you heard that, but it's like a little ding. That means that it's back to 0 for the next product.
Perfect.
We talked last week about if you need help with developer, that's what that calculate developer is.
Yep.
So if I was measuring 1 to 2, it tells me what to pour to. It doesn't enter it for you, but it's like suggesting, hey, 123.2 grams. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try and pour to. The display on this scale does show the weight as well. Oh, geez, what was I doing? I was talking there. Okay, so you know what? We'll just pretend I overshot by 5 grams, but so there's our weight. You can see how quickly it was registering on the app. Night and day difference between this scale and our standard kind of entry-level scale.
Yeah. So that sensitivity again, like it's so nice as a colorist being able to have that down to the point two, like you said, it's such an accurate measurement. And
Yeah.
and when we're in the salon, being able to have no tar, no like extra steps, being able to just go through last week when we talked about manual and voice entry, you do lose a touch of that accuracy. So when we are watching those pennies add up to the dollars, we want to be as accurate as possible. So being able to use something even more so accurate is that next level of kind of graduating into session tracking and getting even more clarity in your reporting. So with the Akaya, when you're kind of playing around with your scale, let's say a manual scale, and then implementing a Bluetooth scale like ours, and then looking at a potentially upgraded scale like the Akaya, how do you start to introduce this to your team if you're working with a team of other stylists? And what does the Akaya look like in pairing versus our Bluetooth scale?
I would first start with one of these scales because it is an investment. It's about $150 US. In Canadian, it's $220. So I would just get one. As you can see, it's already fluttering because it's picking up.
Yeah, so accurate.
So I would just start with one, and I would first play with it before you're ready to go, just because it's so accurate. I love it for additives, like, the Goldwell pure pigments, like you just kind of drop a little eyedropper of product. This would be the best product for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would get one rock star out of your salon to really feel comfortable with this, that they can help other stylists with it in case they needed just a little extra hand. But really, it's very straightforward. So yeah, I say just give her.
I love that. So in our chat, we see lots of manual entries. So I am going to make the assumption on our call today, most, if not all of our participants who are with us are using manual. So this is where There's no right or wrong. And we really want to emphasize that there is not a, this is what you should do or have to do or need to do in any way, shape, or form. What we talked through last week is the variations of the three. And so at what point does voice command become easier or more efficient? I shared last week that for me, I love sending voice messages. I send voice texts or voice messages in Slack. So for me, I like that voice piece. It's just faster. For some people, manual is an easier option in their space for whatever reason. I know we had talked about in the salon, sometimes it's a little too loud for voice option. So
Yeah.
the format of this is for us to really show you everything available. And then you get to use your best judgment. You know yourself and your business and your clients the best, your team as well, if you're a team owner. So you get to decide what's going to make the most sense for your business. But now let's go through, Jordan, if we can kind of explore with this remixing and then also maybe waste. So
Sure.
when we're looking at this accuracy, let's say the money piece, we needed a little bit more, or we wanted
Yeah.
to do something different. How would we do that?
The first thing I would do is I'd hit save. So let me just hit save here so that everything is perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this off the scale because we're doing a remix. We don't need to remeasure using this. So I'm just going to turn this off. I think it's 2 taps. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my formula. And then the remix button is just underneath the manual entry. So if I tap that, it's going to ask us, how much more of this formula do you want to mix up? Maybe we just need a little skosh more, so a quarter. And what it will do for us is it's going to quickly figure out what to pour to. So you can see there, our price was $22. Now it's 28. So you can tell that it has increased the formula and the cost. So I will hit save. And we'll pretend that now we applied this color, but we were a little ambitious and we mixed up too much. So we're going to show you waste.
Perfect.
There's a few different ways you can start with waste. You can set it up beforehand, which in my phone is already set up. But I'll show you how to set it up if you're like, I didn't have time to set up, let's just do it right now. So we're going to go back into that formula, the money piece. And I'm going to tap on waste. Now the waste button, if it doesn't appear for you, it's because you have a product in the formula that has 0 grams or zero, like no weight. So sometimes that has been an issue if you've like, oh, you added 9.0, but you didn't use it, so you just skipped over it. If there's a product that you did that for and wanted to delete, you just put your finger on it and slide. You see how it shows up?
Yep.
It's a little yeah, hidden sort of feature there. So, okay, let's tap on waste. I'm going to turn on the scale without anything on it because there we go. Oh, and I'll hit scan again. There we go. Because I don't want the bowl teared. In Canada, we say tear and you say tar.
Yeah. Yeah. Tarot is great. Either one. Yes.
Tear, potato, tomato, Okay. So I just left a little bit of water in here to pretend that this is my waste. He's asking me, hey girl, what bowl are you talking about? So if I had more bowls in my formula, it would bring up a couple different bowls, but this is the one. So I'm going to pop it on here. And I'm going to select what my empty bowl was. So I selected my orange bowl, but if I didn't have time and I needed to do it on the fly, I would hit that plus sign and it will walk you through naming the bowl if you want to put a picture on it and what the bowl's empty weight is.
Yep.
So I'm going to tap really orange bowl. They're actually the same bowl, but and because I had that scale on, it already measured it at oh yeah, here we go. Bowl 1. Hang on a second. Come on now. Let me just check this one time. Nothing like a live with the scale not working. Hey,
This is why we do them. This is why we do them. This is the real stuff in the salon. So for some of
yes,
you that don't know, Jordan and I are both hairstylists. So we both understand the like time management piece of using a new piece of technology. So we want to be able to go through this with you and show you the things that you're going to experience in real life in the salon. And so Jordan's walked through this with customer success so many times with people who have reached out and said, for whatever reason, their Bluetooth scale isn't connecting or isn't measuring. So again, as we're hosting these, that's our goal, to be able to show you how these work and what we go through to make sure that we've caught any little glitches or anything that's not
yeah.
computing in the way that it needs to.
I don't know why it's okay. I have 145.5 on my scale, but it's not showing up in here right now. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, there it is.
There
Well,
it goes. Yep. Yep.
okay, so sometimes you just gotta finesse it. No, I don't know.
Maybe a Bluetooth connection.
All I did is I tapped on the manual entry and back, and then it brought it up. So normally it would bring it up right then and there. And that's where, if you do find a little issue like that, reach out to me. What I do is I create a support ticket for our developers, and then they look into it to see like, why didn't that work the first time? So okay, so here's our bowl. With the waste, there's the weight of the bowl that was empty. And I'm
Can
going
we
to
real quick, Jordan, we have a question that is about the weight of the bowl. So Danielle asked, what is the reason for naming bowls when you specified which client it's for? Danielle, the reason for this is because each bowl will have a different weight. So we want to get that weight empty of the bowl without any color in it. So that way we can accurately calculate the waste once that color is still remaining. So if you're in a salon, I know where I work, out of the salon, there are only two bowls. Yep. So Jordan has like a demonstration. We only use two different types of color bowls. So you would simply have one color bowl or the other and just choose which bowl you use to measure.
Yeah, and the formula, the name of the bowl is like where you're applying it, like a highlight or a bleach, that sort of thing. Whereas this is just like what color is the bowl you're using. So maybe that's a bit confusing there, but okay, let's hit calculate waste. Let's figure this out. Now you can see at the bottom in our formula, it says color wasted. $5.23.
Yeah.
What the heck? So that's just so crazy. Whereas before you had no idea how much money you were either putting down the drain or in the garbage. But now you can see, and where the magic is when we are going to save this formula and the next time baby spice comes in. So I'm going to hit save and then I'll hit complete. Okay. So now we'll pretend 4 weeks later, baby spice is back. She's off tour. And what I'll do is this time I'm going to tap on clients. I'm going to turn my scale off just in case it does something for me here. Okay, baby spice. This is bringing up her formula or her session history. And so here it was 20, it was the 2862.
Yep.
And there was that waste that was, it's showing us that there was waste in this formula. Now you can duplicate it including waste or not. So this is where this screen is coming in, where it says, what bowl do you want to duplicate? This is if I had more bowls on this session. That's why that menu is showing up. And then it says remove waste. So if it was a one-off where you mixed up too much color, or needed a different formula because she came in too soon or too late, if you want that original formula, you would just take that off. But in this case, we want to fine tune that formula. So I will hit duplicate. And it says 2 items were added to the bowl. You can tell those amounts are different than what I originally had. So this is the $23.39 edited bowl. Edited? Is that a word?
Yes. Edited bowl. Yes. I love it. So it shows it without the waste for her to have the accurate color for this application. So now it's removed that. Theoretically, you'll go through this color process and there won't be additional color left in your bowl that you'll be throwing away. And so that's sort of, we had this conversation last week, which I think is such a valid one. And we're actually going to continue it next week when we come into further implementing. So one of the things we're going to discuss is waste and how to really empower both yourself and your team, if you're in a team-based setting, to embrace the waste, understand that waste happens and there's nothing shameful or punishing around having waste. It's the accuracy and understanding so that it doesn't happen the next time. So being able to really empower yourself as a colorist. I know for me, like, there's no matter who paid for the color, whether I paid for it, someone else paid for it, there's nothing that feels good about cleaning out a bowl and dumping out all of this color that is clearly not going to be used and put in the trash. So from any perspective, it's a complete waste. And so being able to just take that learning and make a different choice for next time and not even have to consciously think about it. I think that's the big piece. Jordan, would you say that you agree with the fact that so many salons have no awareness around what is being wasted? And so then when it comes to having that accuracy with their profit, that's where the dollars are getting lost.
Yeah, I find owners know that the color's being wasted, but there's not a number attached. So you're like, guys, you're wasting color, you're over mixing. But when you can put a number to it and be like, guys, we wasted $500 worth of color this month. Let's get that lower. Now you can measure it.
Yeah. And I think, again, even for solos, like, use your own, that's your dollar, that's your money, that's your profit. And so being able to recognize, like, okay, I want to understand this inside and out so that then I can make different choices and have more profit in my business this year. So waste is such an efficient piece of our technology. It's such a great and important piece. And so somebody who's afraid to implement it, afraid to kind of bring that waste piece back in, is really important.
Oh, absolutely. So remember I said, like, how much waste did we do this month? This is where, as an owner, you go back to your business center. So that's that website version of SalonScale. And I will tap on reports and then color lines.
Yep.
Okay, so here we go with our reports. We're going to look at, let's see here. Maybe I'll look at Schwarzkopf because that's the one I used. Yep. It shows me what I've used, maybe what I haven't used, but always check this filter. So instead of this week, because I want a little bit more numbers, I'm going to say year to date. So this is what I haven't used this year. This is great where you can do it for a whole year and see what are your dust collectors on your shelf. But we were talking about waste. I'm going to click on waste. And here's what was, oh, geez, really emphasize that waste. This is what we've wasted since January 1st to today.
Yep.
It provides you a number. So $3. 53 cents. You can see it in grams. We can change it to ounces, or we can see it in units. So the unit is like how much of that tube, how much of that container of lightener. So it depends on how you like to look at it. And you know what? This unit was brought up to us by a customer that said, hey, can I see that waste in different measurements? So if there are things like that, look at her idea, made it to our software. Reach out. We're always open to feedback.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Thank you for showing from this perspective too. So, and again, that's such a great example. So I want to be mindful of time. We have 2 minutes. I'd love to give, if anyone has a question, please drop it in the chat. This is, like we said, this is our space that we host every single week. So every week on Tuesdays, you can come, bring your morning coffee, your matcha, whatever you've got, and come and hang out with us. Get to know more about the technology that you've invested in and how it can support your business further. So I'm going to leave just 30 seconds or so for anyone who's typing any questions out. With our topic next week, as we go into implementation further, please bring your questions around how to really use some of the features like waste. We're also going to be talking about markup in the future. So if you don't use markup, any of your questions around how to better implement this as an independent or as a team-based owner, or even if you're a manager and you're kind of bringing your team on board in this space, what can we support you with? Bring those questions. Jordan, is there anything that you'd like to add around the Akaya and how you've seen this benefit our users?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve just because it's so fast. But I really feel strongly that team salons benefit the most from investing in this scale. So I always recommend if you're frustrated with that $60 scale, give this one a try and you'll be happy. But before we go, I have to give a shout out to your eyebrows. Can I like,
Oh,
wow,
thank you. Wow. Thank you
those
so
are some
much.
good brows. Like,
Thank you.
hello.
I'm
Yeah.
going to put, thank you. Thank you. I have a new brow gel. I should put that in the chat, but I'm going to
Yeah,
drop in the
exactly.
chat the Akaya Scale link. So for anyone who's with us today, if for whatever reason you are looking and you are interested in having a bit more of an option with Bluetooth, here is the link for you to be able to purchase. And then also, as Jordan mentioned, if you're having any issues at all with Bluetooth, please bring that in as well. And we do have, yep, Jordan's going to show it on the app as well.
Yeah, on the app, if you tap on account, it says accessories at the bottom above sign out, purchase a scale.
Yep.
There's that Akaya Pearl scale, and it's going to open up a website where you can order it direct. We don't sell it direct, but
Yep.
the company that we buy them from
Yep.
is listed there. So just wanted to point that out.
Amazing. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jordan, so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we will see you hopefully next week.
exactly. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.